Good morning. Today, our guest is Brittany Martin from American Family. She'll be sharing some insights about risk management, aka insurance. So, welcome, Brittany. We're happy to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit about Brittany Martin and your agency?
Well, thank you for having me. So yes, my name is Brittany Martin, and I have been an agent with American Family Insurance just shy of 3 years. The agency is actually about 35 years old though, because my mother was the previous agency owner and she retired, and which kind of forced me to come out of my banking career that I was in for quite a few years, and so now I've transitioned everything that I was doing in the community from small business lending over to small business insurance and home and auto and life and everything else. So, and it's a family run organization. My sister works with me as well here in the agency. And so we're just trying to keep the legacy going.
Great. Family owned businesses are always a challenge, but a great opportunity as well. So, as a small business owner, and many small business owners I work with, they're always confused with the risk management field. I know that insurance plays a role within that field. And as a business owner that has never had insurance, what would you tell me in terms of why should I have insurance and what kind of basic coverage at least I should consider?
Well, insurance coverages vary depending on the risks or what type of business you have. But at the very minimum, you will want to have liability coverage. That keeps insurance is transference of risk, right? And so it's keeping you, if something, in the event of a catastrophic event, it keeps you financially secure in a sense. So you're transferring the risk from you to the insurance company. So if there was a catastrophic event, the insurance company would then be liable on the hook for it, not you personally or your business personally as well. So as a first time business owner looking for insurance, you want to have at least liability coverage. So which covers you for, slip and falls, medical payments, slander. What else? If you are, there's so many things. I'm at a standstill, but there are a lot of different things that liability insurance does cover for while you're on the premises for your business and while other people are on your premises as well. So at the very minimum, that, which also includes medical payments for your guests that you invite onto your premises or into your business. Someone says that the job that you did was incomplete or not up to standard or subpar, and they sue you, you would have coverage through that as well through your policy. So insurance has a lot of things that you may not need as coverage, but also there are a lot of things that you would need. But at the very minimum, liability coverage is what you would need.
Well, as I understand liability covers me in the course of business. So I'm running my business. For instance, I have an office. Somebody comes to my office and fall, as you stated, then I cover. If I, in the course of business, do something incorrectly, like I have a cable in the middle of the room and somebody gets entangled in the cable, cover. So things that might happen in the course of business that I didn't do intentionally,
Mhm.
I can get sued for. Okay.
Correct.
So that's those who are listening. Liability is the basic. I every once in a while I talk to a business that had no type of insurance and they've been running a food truck or a business related like that. It's really a high risk. If somebody sues you, then you yourself and everything you own is on the hook if you get into a lawsuit. Versus, as Brittany stated, when you have an insurance coverage or an insurance company covering you, then you transfer that risk to the insurance and the insurance will resolve that matter on your behalf and you continue doing or running your business. So that's great. Now, another area of insurance that I hear a lot people having issues is workers' compensation, okay, as a small business. And there's an ever going debate whether I should have it or not. I explain from the standpoint as an accountant and as an advisor, I tell people that it's Wisconsin law, it's mandatory to have workers comp. Can you tell us a little bit about this workers' comp insurance? Why is it important?
So, as you stated, in the state of Wisconsin, it is mandatory if you have at least one full-time employee and I believe at least three part-time employees. There are a lot of different caveats, to whether or not you are required to have it. So you definitely want to check with your insurance agent. But if you have at least one full-time employee, you have to have it. You, as the owner of the business, you don't count. So if it's just you running your business, you don't have to have workers' comp insurance. Same thing that goes for your spouse. But workers' comp insurance, covers you as the employer in the case of one of your employees being getting hurt while on the job. And so if you have a factory and one of your employees' hands get caught in the machinery, and they are unable to work and they have all these medical bills and have to go to rehab and things like that, your workers' comp insurance will cover that for them. And so then and also employers liability insurance as well, which is kind of grouped together in the state of Wisconsin. They're not sold separately. And so if someone were to say that you were negligent, then that you caused that accident, your employer's liability coverage would then cover your expenses to go to court and attorney's fees and things like that in the case that something catastrophic would happen while on the job to one of your employees. So it gives you coverage in case one of your employees gets hurt while on the job, or maybe even feels I don't want to say discriminated, but the main one is hurt. But if you work, like, let's say you work in an asbestos factory and they get sick, for disease or something like that, they also get coverage through your workers' comp policy as well.
Okay, so workers' comp is a great policy to have. Really, you have an employee, because that's probably will be one of the sources of higher liability.
Right.
As I want to clarify again, as Brittany stated, it is Wisconsin law that you have employees, you must have some type of workers' comp coverage. The other piece that is very important that you cover is this employer liability. So again, in the course of doing business and dealing with people, if there's something that you're found guilty of doing or not doing, then this coverage comes in and protects you. And you never know how people are going to react. I mean, we feel that our employees are very loyal and they're always on our side, but we never know what's going to happen when something catastrophic or they get hurt happens to them. And it's really important to also listen to the last comment. So it's not only in an accident, but a condition that can develop over time due to their work with you. So they become sick later, or I hear a lot of people having carpal tunnel type of claims, and so all those things. So that's a great coverage to have. So Brittany, so we covered liability, which is a must. I mean, we should all consider liability. And then we also cover the workers' comp. So in your line of work, when you're working with a small business that has a lot of equipment, or let's say truck driver or somebody that drives forklifts and equipment, what else would you recommend in those cases?
So, like I said before, it depends on the risk, and I just want to note that not all insurance companies cover every risk or business type. So American Family covers certain businesses, but not all. So you might want to shop around, but it's definitely important to have an insurance agent and not buy your policy online. So I just wanted to make mention of that. But when you're working closely with your insurance agent, you want to make sure that you are letting them know about everything that you have that for the business, including inventory and equipment, because not your large pieces of equipment may not be covered individually under your policy. Because if it's a big piece of machinery like $15,000, $10,000, that's going to have to be scheduled or itemized on your insurance policy for additional coverage. And of course, that would cost additional premium, but you would have that coverage in case there was some type of issue like theft or a fire or whatnot that would destroy that machinery. And also inventory. I know that there's, like with food trucks and things like that, you have food that you have stored, and so you want to make sure that you're letting your insurance agent know how much inventory you have. So if there's a fire or something, or your utilities break down or whatnot, you can recoup those losses. And then going back to food trucks or restaurants, making sure you have spoilage coverage or contamination coverage and things like that. There are specialized coverages for specific risks or businesses. So that's why it's important to at least have a conversation with your insurance agent, so they know how to cover you appropriately depending on your risk.
So based on your response, and I agree with you, having an accountant, having an insurance agent, and a banker are like your core team that has in mind your business. So they become your consultants in that regard. And I cannot emphasize enough the importance of working with a person that you can articulate things, talk to, call when things change, versus working with a program that you get broker out and you never know who your agent is. Now, what are the things or the advice you'll give me if I'm looking for an agent besides that specific topic of having somebody that knows a little bit about your business? What else would I look for in an insurance agent when I'm selecting one?
Well, it depends on what's important to you. You know, some people don't mind having an agent that's out of state. You know, I have customers that live in different states, but we still have built a relationship over the phone and via Zoom and through email and things like that. So it depends on what you personally would want as a relationship with your insurance agent. But I would definitely, you know, keep in mind when shopping, you know, staff. If the agent, if they're getting back to you right away, or within 24 hours, if making sure there's not a lot of staff turnover, I should say as well, you know, and if someone in your community is important, like around the corner that you can stop into their office is important, then, you know, then make that when you're shopping, you know, location is make sure the location is right for you. But also, you know, someone, and I can only speak for myself, I'm a little bit newer to the industry. So, but someone that's knowledgeable, and just because I'm newer doesn't mean I'm not knowledgeable. And so just someone that you feel like you can relate to. A lot of people feel like they can relate to me, you know, and for different reasons, but because the insurance industry is usually run by older white males, and they see, you know, a young Black female, they feel like, or woman, I should say, they can relate to me and I'm more personable or something. I don't know, but that's what I've been told many, many, many times. So whatever is important to you as a business owner and as a person, to be able to build those relationships and cultivate it, because you can have a business policy over here and an home and auto over here and a life somewhere else. Why not have a place like American Family to have everything in one spot, so your insurance agent can mitigate all your risks or all your policies under one roof? Because it's going to be hard for me to tell you about what you got going on over there and over there. If you have everything under one roof, it's easier for your agent to, you know, manage you and your family.
Great. So we had learned great things today. So we had learned that one of the ways that we can mitigate or reduce our risk is by buying insurance, because insurance, when we buy insurance, we're transferring the risk to somebody else. We also learned that when we have a small business, there's some must, and the basic policy that we should all explore will be liability insurance that will cover me in the course of business if something bad or unexpected happens, that I will be held responsible, be sued for, to have an insurance that will have my back and cover me in that case. Secondly, we also learned that if we have employees, there's a Wisconsin law that require us under certain conditions to have coverage for that employee. And in Wisconsin, that coverage is dual. So we had the workers' comp that covers the employee in an accident currently, or if they get sick over time in performing work for us, or if in the course of doing business or having employees in my business, I am liable for not doing something or lacking something else. There's that employee liability component. We also learned from Brittany that each case is a little bit different. So I really need to sit down with somebody that understands my business, that had experience with the type of business that I offer, and then look at everything and help me mitigate strategically what will work for me. So that takes me to the last point, which is it's very important to have an agent that you can work with, that is accessible, that is flexible, and that look like us. So that's great, Brittany. So thank you for joining us today. Do you have any final piece of advice for our listeners?
Final piece of advice I would say would be, like I said, find out what's important to you, and then build a relationship with your agent. And some people don't want agents, which is your choice, but we are your advisors. We are advising you on how to best protect you, your family, and your business. So you might pay a little bit extra to have us, but we're here for you and your family to let you know what you don't know. And so just give us a chance here at B. Martin and Associates. We're located in Glendale, Wisconsin, and we would love to earn your business.
Thank you. So at the end of the presentation, you'll see a final slide with Brittany information. You're interested in calling Brittany Martin, please make sure that you call her. She's very accessible. She has helped some of the nonprofits and many of the businesses that we work with. So I suggest you take advantage of that personable, flexible advisor and call her up. So thank you, Brittany, again. It has been a pleasure having you today. We look forward to having you back in the near future.
Thank you.